All right, guys, this is another assignment for your week 3 NTI. If you're doing this one first, good for you. If you're doing this last, also good for you. If you're doing it in the middle, that's fine. This week is a very flexible week. You can do these in any order, really. You can do them all at once. You can do them one day at a time. It's however you need to do these to get them done. I'm trying to be a little more flexible this week and give you all a little more time to catch up if you need to and everything else like that. So, this lesson is about intervals. Now, what is an interval? An interval is the space between two notes. So, intervals are the space between two notes. Now, there are two kinds of intervals. We're only really going to be dealing with one today. So, there's ascending or ascending. Ascending intervals are that the second note is higher, meaning it goes up, ascending. And then descending intervals, the second note is lower. Today we're only going to be dealing with ascending intervals, so notes where the second note is higher. Now, intervals we define in a numerical sense. They are either a unison, and then from there we go into numbers. Second, a third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, or, one more word here, an octave. So, if you give me just a second to change out the page, sorry, my chair is slowly sinking and I look ridiculous. I'm going to show you what each of these intervals are. So, to do these, you have to remember the musical alphabet goes A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then repeats back at A. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. Or you can count up line space. That's going to be up to you how you do this. So, tearing this down. This does not ever go well like I want it to. Close enough. So, intervals. If the two notes stay the same in between them. So, if we count up from the first note to the second note, E, E. It doesn't change. That is a unison, meaning the two notes are the same. Same line, same space. That is a unison interval. If you count up from the first note to the second, and it goes up one letter, E to F. In this case, we're in treble clef, E, F. Count on your fingers, you do count the first one, E, F. That would be a second. And then we'll go from there. We're going to use this as our first note for all of these. E, F, G. Counting up that way, it would be right here a third. There are three letter names. E, F, G. Now if we go from our E here up to A, E, F, G, A. That would be a fourth. And then last but not least on this line, we have E, F, G, A, B. Now let's count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would be a fifth. So just to review on this line before I change pages, you count up from the bottom note of the interval. So to figure out an interval, you count up from the bottom note to the top in the music alphabet. So, how we figured all these out. E, E to E, we don't change letters, we don't change lines, that's unison. E to F, counted 2. E, F, G, that would be a third. E, F, G, A, that gives us 4, that's a fourth. E to B then, E, F, G, A, B. That's a fifth. Now remember, we restart at G from G to A, but that doesn't change up how we're counting. If we're going up from E to A, E, F, G, reset back to A, A. It just adds on. So if we want to keep getting these bigger, we stopped at fifth here. Tear this down. It's going to go poorly, I know. Yep, that went great. There we go. So we left off at fifth, which was on from E to B. Then E, let's count up to C. E, F, G, A, B would be fifth. C takes us to a sixth. That would be a sixth from E to C. Then if we go from E to this D here, this interval, E, F, G, A, B, C, that puts us at 6. This is sign language for 6. Then up to D, 7. That would be a 7th. And then last but not least, we have an octave. An octave is, they've got the same note name. We count up E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. E to E. Now, but they're not on the same line. That's an octave. You could also say it's an eighth, is another way you could put it, but the real appropriate term is an octave. That is the same note name, same notes, just not on the same line. They're separated by literally an octave, 8 notes. If you think about our major scales, like B flat major, we play from B flat to B flat. One other thing is that these intervals all have a specific sound to them. So I'm going to move over to the piano here. Ignore my messy desk in the background in my house. So at the piano, this is not on. Oh, there we go. So a unison, it's literally the same note. You can hear that. They stay the same. A second, it's like happy birthday. Happy birthday. That's a second. A third sounds like the start of Go Big Blue. A fourth. Here comes the bride. A fifth is Twinkle Twinkle. A sixth, NBC. It's the start of the NBC song. This one, a seventh, I don't have a good song for it. It's just one of those that it wants to lead up to the octave. And then octave, they're the same note, just one is higher up than the other. Now, intervals, the way you're going to see them on your exercises, are going to be done like this. You're going to have 2 notes. Sorry, I'm still in my chair, so I look really short. You're going to have 2 notes, and you are going to identify the interval between the 2. So, for an example, you might get, oh, that's my green marker. Cool. We're doing this in green. You're going to have 2 notes on all of your exercises. I think they're all in treble clef. You're going to get this, and then the next measure, this. So it's going to ask you to count up for all of these. They're all going to be ascending intervals going up, where the second note's higher. You'll have to count up and identify it. So, your first note, you'll have to identify both the first note and the second note. To think about E. This one, if you need help with that, remember every good boy does fine, every good bulldog dominates football. E, G, B. Then we count up E, F, G, A, B. That would be a fifth. Now, they're not all going to start on E, is the thing. I changed it up a little bit to make you think some. So, this is going very well with me tearing paper. You might get the bottom note being something different, but the principle is still the same. The only difference is you're counting up from a different note. So it might start on B. Your first note's B, and then you have to identify the interval between these 2 notes. So if you look, E, G, B, first note is B, F, A, C, B, C. That would be a second. You might also have maybe your first note. Say if we did this differently, and we'll make our green note now our first note. So there. The green one would be F. I'd count up F, G, A, B, C. That would make it a fifth. F to C is a fifth. And you might have, your top notes will be anywhere. I kept it mostly in the staff. Nothing larger than an octave. Say you have, this is your first note, this is your last note. E, G, B, D, F. So now for the green notes, F to F, but are they on the same line? No. So count it real quick. F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F. That's an 8. That would be an octave. If you need help with this, I've also got on the YouTube video link here, I've included a link to musictheory.net. That can help you a lot with this. Musictheory.net has a lot of exercises that deal with intervals and stuff. And also, just message me. Ask for help. Tell me which one you're having trouble with. You guys can redo these as many times as you want until you get the grade you're happy with. Just try at it. This is a new concept. I know it might be a little tricky at first, but just remember, count from the bottom note up to the top, musical alphabet A to G, and just count on your fingers as you go. A, B, C, D. Oh, great, that's a fourth. A, B, that's a second. And go from there. Just go at it calmly and slowly. Don't rush through this. That's where mistakes are going to happen. And have a great week.